This next cojones goes to a man who's dear to my heart for standing up for stand-up. When dozens of Netflix employees walked out over Dave Chappelle's reckless decision to perform comedy on his comedy special, CEO Ted Sarandos could have pulled the special and replaced it with more episodes of Who Wants to Watch Koreans Get Killed. But instead, he reminded his Netflix employees that comedy exists to push boundaries and told them if you'd find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you. So, for making the phrase, "Don't let the door hit you in the ass," never sound better, this is for you, Ted.
In history class, we learned that the Industrial Revolution changed the way people worked and lived. It introduced new machinery, improved transportation, and led to the growth of cities. It was a pivotal moment in shaping the modern world.
But there's no getting around the fact that what was on the mind of the liberals that night in Brentwood, or wherever we may have been, was that the most powerful witch hunters now were coming from Twitter, the Ivy League, and the progressive left. J.K. Rowling used to be a villain to the right because she wrote books about witchcraft. Now she's a villain to the left because she has the crazy belief that there's more to being a woman than pronouns and lipstick.
Ma opened the night by highlighting a sharp irony. The woke left eagerly elevates its heroes until those heroes say something outside the accepted narrative. Then without warning, they're publicly shunned. J.K. Rowling is the most infamous example, but she is far from alone. Elon Musk, once Silicon Valley's golden figure, faced backlash. Joe Rogan, celebrated for his boldness, drew ire. Even Ma himself, once hailed as a liberal provocateur, experienced the same. The pattern is clear. Admiration is conditional. Loyalty exists only as long as individuals conform, and deviation, however mild, triggers swift condemnation.
So that was the point of the evening. How do we take a stand against cancel culture? And I suggested, since we were mostly all in show business, that we start an award show to honor the brave people who have fought back. Well, I got to tell you, the idea was met with great enthusiasm by everyone. And in short order, different people were suggesting the ways that their varied talents could be put to use. And then, of course, being Hollywood, nothing happened. But it's still a good idea, so I'm going to do it right here, right now. And not only that, we're going to do it every year.
If you're curious about what Maher is really trying to say, here it is. He's spotlighting Hollywood's true rebels, the stars who refuse to bow to cancel culture's relentless pressure. These are the ones who didn't grovel, didn't issue carefully crafted PR apologies, and didn't erase their statements to calm the angry masses. Instead, they stood firm, doubled down, and proved that free speech still holds value. Even amid Hollywood's echo chamber, Maher is honoring the rare individuals who refuse to compromise their principles for approval. In today's world, that kind of courage truly deserves recognition.
Our first award goes to the president of my alma mater, Cornell University, Martha Pollack. This month, students there demanded trigger warnings before all the lectures in case any of the adult subjects you specifically went to college to learn about came up. And Martha said, yeah, no, we're not doing that. She didn't cave in or hire a new dean of sensitivity. She just said, no, college is for introducing you to new ideas, not for kissing your and making you feel wonderful and always right.
If every university mirrored the clarity and backbone of Martha Pollack, we would be cultivating a generation of bold, practical leaders rather than followers of ideological fluff. For too long, higher education, especially in the years leading up to Trump, became a breeding ground for impractical ideas that weakened society's moral foundation. Campuses turned into echo chambers where dissent was discouraged, conformity celebrated, and genuine intellectual curiosity replaced by political correctness. Even before Trump's presidency, Martha Pollack stood firm against this rising tide of wokeism, refusing to compromise. Her courage in defending the integrity of education is rare, and it is precisely why she deserves the recognition that Maher is awarding.
You're thinking of brunch with your parents. I'm just amazed at how this generation can simultaneously be too sensitive for anything distasteful and somehow also so into eating. So, Cornell, I present you with these balls. I sure could have used them when I was there.
When you really examine the behavior of today's younger generation, it's hard not to be shocked. On one side, they flaunt their boldness, freedom, and edgy attitudes, engaging in actions that would have left previous generations appalled. They push boundaries in love, self-expression, and social interactions, often crossing lines that seem jaw-dropping. Yet paradoxically, these same individuals crumble at the slightest criticism or disagreement. A simple joke, differing opinion, or mild comment can trigger intense outrage. The contrast between their fearless public persona and their hypersensitive reactions is striking. The level of irony and contradiction in their conduct is truly remarkable, almost impossible to ignore.
Our next award goes to the place where many Cornell grads will be working next year, Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's, who for years have been selling a line of ethnically themed products, trading on the name Joe. For example, they have Trader Jose's beer. So, of course, one teenager on Twitter heard the word Jose and said it was racist, and then there was a petition, and then Trader Joe's management did the right thing. They burnt down all their stores and killed themselves. No, they didn't. They said, you oversensitive little.
I remember the Trader Joe's incident like it happened yesterday. The Twitter mob descended, pitchforks in hand, demanding apologies, groveling, and instant re-education. Everyone assumed the company would fold under the pressure, as most corporations do today. They cave, issue long, guilt-soaked statements, and sometimes even rebrand themselves into oblivion. But Trader Joe did the unexpected. They stood their ground. They refused to join the cancel culture frenzy. And you know what? Nothing catastrophic happened. Sales didn't plummet, customers didn't abandon them in protest. Why? Because most people recognized the absurdity. Labeling a product Trader Jose was playful, not offensive. There was no hate, no malice, just lighthearted branding. By declining to apologize for something that didn't warrant one, Trader Joe demonstrated a powerful lesson. Common sense and courage often speak louder than yielding to mob pressure. Sometimes standing firm is enough to win.
Get a life and a sense of humor and released this statement. We disagree that any of these labels are racist, and we do not make decisions based on petitions. You see how easy it is? So to the home of the 19-cent banana, here, have some nuts.
Trader Joe's deserves major praise for standing firm against the so-called woke mob. In a time when many companies buckle under even the slightest online criticism, Trader Joe's demonstrated that courage and principle still matter. Their response shows that pushback is possible without losing credibility or customers. The so-called mob isn't as powerful as it seems. It's often just a small, noisy group of perpetually outraged voices, mainly on social media. Recognizing that their influence is limited removes much of their intimidation. Trader Joe's handled the situation with poise, proving that companies can resist undue pressure and still succeed.
This next cojones goes to a man who's dear to my heart for standing up for stand-up. When dozens of Netflix employees walked out over Dave Chappelle's reckless decision to perform comedy on his comedy special, CEO Ted Sarandos could have pulled the special and replaced it with more episodes of Who Wants to Watch Koreans Get Killed. But instead, he reminded his Netflix employees that comedy exists to push boundaries and told them if you'd find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you. So, for making the phrase, "Don't let the door hit you in the ass," never sound better, this is for you, Ted.
Even comedians, whose very craft relies on pushing boundaries and highlighting life's absurdities, haven't escaped the reach of cancel culture. The woke mob, fueled by a relentless hunger for outrage, has targeted some of the biggest names in comedy. Dave Chappelle faced backlash simply for joking about taboo topics. Kevin Hart was stripped of hosting the Oscars because of decade-old tweets he had already addressed. Joe Rogan came under fire for podcast conversations that didn't align with the mainstream narrative. Even Rob Schneider, known for his light-hearted, goofy humor, found himself caught in their unforgiving spotlight. Comedy has always thrived by challenging norms and exposing societal hypocrisies. Yet today, even a single misjudged joke can be treated as a grave offense. The paradox is stark. Those most committed to free expression, the comedians, are now among the first to be silenced in a culture that claims to champion inclusivity and open dialogue.
You know, when movie lovers get together these days, one phrase that comes up a lot and always makes me sad is, yeah, you couldn't make that one today. Top of that list is the great Tropic Thunder, which the scolds have been after for years. But in February, Ben Stiller tweeted, "I make no apologies for Tropic Thunder. It's always been a controversial movie since when we opened, proud of it and the work everyone did on it." See, people, it's not that hard. He said it, and he still got a commercial. And the lesson is, if you stand up to the mob for just a day or two, their shallow, impatient, immature, smartphone-driven, gerbil minds will forget about it and go on to the next nothing burger, and you still will have your cojones.
Ma didn't hold back when addressing Hollywood stars, reminding them that standing up to the woke mob isn't a career death sentence. Too many celebrities live in constant fear of online outrage, terrified that a viral hashtag could erase years of work. But Ma was clear. At worst, they'll endure a day or two of mindless Twitter rants before the mob moves on. Careers aren't destroyed by angry posts, they're destroyed by silence and cowardice. The true risk comes from giving up your voice just to appease a group that will never be satisfied. Ma's message was simple yet powerful. Stop groveling, stop apologizing for common sense, and stop letting fear dictate the truth you speak. Audiences respect courage far more than scripted compliance, and bravery always leaves a stronger mark than submission ever could.
Miley Cyrus once said, "I am moving if Trump is my president. I don't say things I don't mean." Here she is looking miserable, having to endure America at the Grammys last Sunday. I guess she flew back from Tajikistan.
Ma then turned his focus squarely on Hollywood stars, those who love to pose boldly but vanish when true courage is demanded. Recall the wave of celebrities who loudly vowed they'd leave the country if Trump won the presidency. They made grandiose announcements on late-night shows, strutted across red carpets, and filled Twitter feeds with promises of self-imposed exile, all in the name of principle. Yet just 9 months into Trump's term, where are they? Still in Hollywood. Still sipping champagne. Still enjoying life under the very administration they once claimed was unbearable. Not a single moving truck anywhere. Ma labeled it plainly hypocrisy in its purest form, empty threats for applause, hollow words for attention. If you intend to champion resistance, at least act on it. Otherwise, it's mere performance, a script written for the cameras, not a conviction rooted in reality.
In 2016, Eddie Griffin said, "If Trump wins, I'm moving to Africa." Apparently very slowly, because in Trump's 4 years, he only got as far as Van Nuys. George Lopez once said that if Trump won, he won't have to worry about immigration. We'll all go back. George Lopez, still here.
Hollywood celebrities are the absolute last people anyone should turn to for serious guidance. These aren't philosophers, visionaries, or thought leaders. They are entertainers whose entire lives revolve around applause. Their words shift with the crowd, their values change with trends, and their convictions vanish the moment they threaten ticket sales or streaming numbers. They are experts in pandering, meticulously crafting their public image to remain in favor. When the woke mob comes knocking, most fold like cheap chairs, offering empty apologies just to stay in the spotlight. True principles? Rarely present. A hill worth dying on? Almost never. Their moral compass points only toward relevance and fame. Maher's takedown of Hollywood and the woke mob wasn't just comedy. It was a stark reality check. It reminded us that cancel culture only wields as much power as people allow it. Trader Joe's showed that resistance works. Comedians proved that laughter cannot be silenced. And voices like Martha Pollack demonstrated that courage still exists in academia. Hollywood elites may posture and pander, but real influence comes from those willing to stand firm. The message is clear: stop bowing to hollow outrage and start defending common sense. In today's climate, defiance is not reckless, it's necessary. Courage isn't about risking popularity, it's about staying true to reason and conviction. Those who dare to do so, whether in business, academia, or comedy, are the ones shaping real change. Hollywood's applause-driven morality will never provide it. If you found this perspective valuable, hit the like button and subscribe for more insights challenging the status quo. Remember, influence comes from principle, not pandering.